हेलो हेलो
Guys, look at you.
इधर ऑडिटोरियम में आ गया And then you can take this. Yeah. That is fine. Great. So I think we can have this.
बाद में काम क्या करोगे? बाद में काम क्या करोगे?
देखिए बोर्ड लगे हैं ना लगा है
Hello, good morning all. Yeah, we already have Professor Chandalia with us, and Yeah. Everybody says hello. And then, yeah. And then we have Professor Dixit with us. Everybody says hello. And we have Professor Bhatt. Everybody says hello. Yeah, there are people who want to know the subject. Actually, we will be coming up with that. But everybody knows that Professor Chandalia taught us about the chemical process industry, and Professor Dixit taught us about the metallurgy, and then we have Professor Bhatt who taught us the physics. Yeah, now Professor Kamya has arrived and he'll be welcome. He was associated with physics. Yeah, we welcome Professor Palwe here. we welcome Professor Emma. He was associated with our chemistry, chemistry lab, and inorganic chemistry.
तो फिर म्यूट कैसे करते हैं? We welcome Professor J.B. Joshi. We welcome Professor J.B. Joshi. Say hello to him. Hello.
Yeah, can. Yeah, there is one special announcement. Excuse me. We have a special announcement here. Sridhar's dad, he is celebrating his birthday today. So, can we all? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. And yeah, please welcome Professor Sharma. He is here. We all welcome him. Welcome Professor Sharma. Say hello to him.
I think, and then VC and current director and VC there, are going to bring the professors are they coming at 1 o'clock. So now,
Yeah, we welcome Professor Lele. Welcome to Professor Lele. Say hello to her.
Oh my gosh.
Disturbing.
नीचे ऑफ करके वापस चालू करोगे? हाँ चलेगा, ब्लैंक होएगा, चलेगा। 1 मिनट का तो काम है। क्या इतना लो है यार ये बंदा। उस पे लगा था ना, उस पे छोड़ दो ना रख के। ये काली बोर्ड बात करने से अच्छा वो चलता है क्या? ये माइक
welcome Professor Pandit, and we all say hello to Professor Pandit. Hello. We welcome Registrar R.R. Deshmukh. Uh, we welcome Professor Deshmukh. And we all say hello to Professor Deshmukh. Hello, sir. We welcome Professor Bhagwat. Yeah, I now request Vilas Gaikar to take over the proceedings.
We are on the dot. 12 noon. So whether good morning, good afternoon, whatever. We are here on the dot. So I would like to extend, first of all, a very warm welcome to all of you. On the behalf of the Institute, on my personal behalf, and I can also go to the other side and say thank you. Many of you probably have come here after a very long time, and I remember at least few of you who have not seen the face of ICT, UDCT after the graduation. So welcome especially for those who have come very long distances. Some have even flown from US, some have come from UK. Very long distances indeed, right? But it's a far better, very warm place as compared to your UK and US. So it's in fact a great pleasure for me to be amongst you, amongst my own teachers, amongst my own classmates who have managed today to come together to get the people in this room, and probably may have, all of us, have the memories of this place. But we are very different. What we remember of this place was those hard black color benches and the two corridors, and if you get an opportunity to jump out of the window, if you didn't like some of the lectures, or you can comfortably sleep at the backside. UDCT then, what we had witnessed had changed a lot. And of course, as in everybody's life, in the institution's life as well, many changes take place. And we have one of the biggest change which has taken place in just few weeks ago is that Professor Pandit taking over the Vice Chancellor's position or responsibility here. And you have on his right hand Dr. Deshmukh, who is handling the responsibility of being the registrar of this place. So it is again, on your behalf, we'd like to welcome both of you formally, that you have agreed very graciously to participate in the function which the batch has organized. And of course, my batchmates will tell you what really has gone into this and why we are doing this. For those who have come here for a long time, you must have taken a round, you must have seen the labs. Somebody was looking for the lockers as well. Where is my locker? That at one time used to be very precious space where you can keep everything that belongs to you. Some actually wanted to go to the hostel. I'm sorry, you can't enter there now because this is a ladies' hostel. The special, of course, at our batch was something which we didn't have a single lady in our class. And now you have almost like 35% is the number. That's a very large number. And of course, they study much harder than the boys. UDCT as what was a mere department then when we graduated, but thanks to the leaders of the institution, like we have Professor Sharma here, Professor J.B. Joshi, we have Professor Chandalia, Pradiksh. These are the people who actually made this, people, every one of them, and of course many more of them as well. UDCT has changed. It is no more just a department of University of Mumbai. We got initially the very partial autonomy, academic, then the financial, some admin, but eventually we divorced from University of Mumbai, became a separate university in our own right. So today, you can proudly say that you are belonging to the university. Okay? You may graduate from UDCT, University of Mumbai, but you are alumnus of this institution. A great institution which has made all of us. And this is a very special occasion for all of us. So in order to begin that program, let me invite my colleague Sridhar to give the concept behind this program. If possible, please your cell phones on silent mode or switch it off. Anyway, all of you are on the web right now.
Good morning, everybody. My dear professors, their families, visiting dignitaries, staff, students of ICT, my batchmates from chemical engineering class of 1982. It's my privilege that I have been given this opportunity to address you all today and to welcome you all to this rather informal get-together. On behalf of the class of chemical engineering of class of 1982, welcome everybody. It all started about a few months ago when many of us batchmates were feeling the need to come and meet and spend time with each other, revive and relive those memories of our 4 wonderful years that we spent in UDCT from 1978 till 1982. There was an underlying but unspoken desire in the hearts and minds of everybody present that we should visit our alma mater. Yes, visit the alma mater with our loved ones, and also a desire to meet all the professors who taught us to become what we have become today. Before long, one of us explicitly mentioned that why not have an informal function like this today, where we can use this opportunity to felicitate and honor our professors. By the way, nothing comes free. We will still seek their blessings again today, and yet again share with them our report cards later on, showing how they have shaped us today and to achieve what we have achieved in the last 37, 38 years. Well, that was it. The idea took off with such momentum and enthusiasm that nobody looked back anymore. Today, I'm glad to say that we are more than 60% of that graduating class here, with people coming in from inside of India and outside. 60% of a class of about 55 to 60. I mean, the number kept changing a little bit now and there from year to year. All our professors, the ones that taught us and with whom we could contact them, even they have come here, and they are an equally high percentage of about 60% of the people who actually were contactable. Unfortunately, we could not contact everybody. I would like to take a few moments here specifically to mention and remember 3 of our very beloved classmates who are not here in this world today with us. First of all, Rajendra Gore, who left us very soon after our graduation due to an unfortunate accident, an industrial accident. Some of our batchmates who were with him in that company, working with him, still remember that day with great sorrow and horror at the events that followed after that. Next, Vivek Chindarkar. He left us about a decade ago. Those days, we did not have a WhatsApp group. So unfortunately, we look back with remorse, saying that, we could not keep in touch with Vivek, and today we miss him. Lastly, Ketan Shah, who left us about 3 years ago. Ketan Parikh, who left us about three years ago. My excuses. After a very brief illness. Ketan Parikh will be remembered. Ketan Parikh will be remembered by us all because he was such a loving and affectionate person. And he single-handedly brought this whole group together. He created the WhatsApp group, which was instrumental in getting us all together. Yeah? And as Providence would have it, today happens to be his birthday. We did not plan it this way. We only realized it a couple of days ago that today was his birthday. Yeah? On behalf of my batchmates, I bow down and express a lot of gratitude to them for being part of our lives. Our distinguished professors, your fame, achievements, titles, awards that you have garnered in your professional career needs no introduction. And mention, especially in this audience where all of us know your greatness and achievements. If I start going there, I can talk about each professor for half an hour and about a few of them for hours together. So please excuse us, we will not go into that detail. Neither will I nor any of our classmates because we all know you so well. For us, you are our beloved and loved professors that coached us, mentored us during our university days, and actually even after our UDCT days. Many examples that you quoted to us during our university days were etched in our mind so much that though we did not understand it at that particular point in time in our study, a lot of it fell in place as we were working. During experience, we could remember those wise wisdom words, pearls of wisdom, as I would say, that helped us make better choices and better decisions today. Yeah? So my suggestion to some of the young graduates today is, please, professors like Gaiker or others who teach you today, even if it doesn't understand, remember what he said. One day when you get some experience, you will understand the depth of what was mentioned at that particular time. Yeah? Some of our professors have not been able to come and bless us here today because of mobility restrictions of age. Some of our professors were just not contactable in spite of our best efforts, and some sadly are no more with us. I take this opportunity to thank them all and thank them all profusely. I thank them all profusely. All our professors have been equally responsible for our development and success, but I would like to pay special tribute to one of them, and through him to all others present and not present, Dr. Raja Daksha. Those days, we thought there was something very special about this man, as all of us felt at extreme ease to consult him, not just on matters academic. And in the process, he left us and he made us feel extremely, extremely close to him. We miss you, sir. In hindsight, with some maturity, we feel that all our professors actually were equally approachable, but due to our own preconceived ideas and fear, we were scared to approach some of them. We feel sorry about those moments. Though some very few of us have been in touch with our professors who taught us, let me assure you that all those who have not been have been thinking about each one of you and have them in our minds, as we feel fortunate to have been tutored and mentored by you. That tutoring and mentoring has got us through our professional careers, and today many of us stand at the sunset of that professional career, but at the dawn of our next stage in life, namely retirement. Yeah? So here we are, seeking blessings and guidance from all of you for our next phase in life. We have tried to keep today's function as informal as possible. We hope that all present will have a good time today. And And before all of us classmates, or not all, some of us, we go back and try to bond with ourselves at a resort and spend 2 nights together. With that, I once again thank you and my classmates for giving me this opportunity to address you. Thank you.
Friends, we all agree with what Sridhar said, that the teachers, they prepared us for whatever we are today. Their infectious dedication for profession and a pursuit of excellence rubbed on all of us. So we have reached wherever we are only because of the very solid foundation that they laid for us in those 4 years. For me, it has been a much longer journey in ICT. As Sridhar said, any teacher will be very happy to look at the report card. So we have made a report card for our batch, and we like that report card to be unveiled by all of you together, which gives an idea about our batch, wherever we are, what we have done beyond the 4 years that we spent here. So can give it on the stage as well. So I suggest all the teachers and the degrees and dais, please open this. It's a very short compilation. And I request my another colleague. He was always a leader of the class and has been even since then. Dilip Pandurang or Pandurang Dange.
Good afternoon, dear professors, my colleagues, and friends. It's a wonderful day to be here today. I remember coming down to UDCT in 2007 when we celebrated our 25 years of graduation. And then we had been talking about this sort of gathering, but it took so long, it took almost 12 years for that to materialize. And thanks to Vilas, Sridhar, and all the batchmates who I agreed with the idea and decided that we do this. So thank you, all of you. I am presenting you the 1982. Okay, that's better. Okay. Yep, thank you. So I am here to present you the 1982 batch of chemical engineering. Basically, I am going to tell you what we did after 82. I think I'm going to come in between, right? No, this way. This on. No. Technical glitch, as usual. Now it's doing. Yeah, okay. So, we were in UDCT between 1978 and 1982, and we had the pleasure, we had the good fortune of having all of you sirs to coach us, to teach us. At that time, it was UDCT, University Department of Chemical Technology, and Professor E.H. Dalwala was our director, and Professor M.M. Sharmaji were our head of department. And then, of course, we have a chemical engineering department, and few of you are here today, and some of them, as Vilas said, as we couldn't contact them, some of them are unfortunately no more with us. But this is the group of our coach, our mentors, our teachers. We, the batch of 1982 chemical engineers, salute you professors, our mentors, our coach. Thank you very much for all the efforts you have taken in building us, in constructing us into a responsible chemical engineers. The 4 years we spent together helped us achieve our life goals with resolve that rival the strength of the stony infrastructure of this institute. We owe our humble accomplishment to the distinguished faculty who mentored us throughout our stint here. In trying to meet your expectations, we scaled heights we never thought we could. This is the batch with our professors, not all of them, but most of them. And we are, as mentioned, we are almost 60% present here today. I think I must be obstructing, right? Maybe I go down or? Okay, yeah. Okay. As mentioned, we are 3 short. We have 3 of our colleagues who left us in between, and they are on their own heavenly journey. Sikh Ketan Parik, he is the one who passed away about 3 years before. He did his, became from UDCT, and then he ended up doing MTech from IIT Mumbai. He worked with IBI Kemathur, RT Industries, Das Pharmaceuticals. He also tried his own stint of 6 years of, in the field of engineering and consultancy. He spent 32 years in pharma and petrochemical sector, in engineering manufacture, marketing field in India. He also worked in Africa. So Ketan was, we call him Yaoka Yar. He sadly departed, as I said, for his heavenly journey 3 years before. Ketan was a good networking colleague, and he is the one who brought all of us together by forming a WhatsApp group. Agni, Rajesh Agni, many of you may remember as one of the top rankers from 1982 batch. So he did his he did his MS in chemical engineering from Purdue, and then he did executive MBA from University of New Mexico, USA, and he retired just in 2019. He of course continued to stay in Austin, Texas. Yeah. So worked 4 years in Harris Conductor, USA, and 30 years in Intel Corporation. Held influential positions in product marketing, strategic planning, business development, process engineering, and quality and reliability. He was chief author of technology papers and Intel presenter at several global supercomputing conferences. As we remember, Rajesh was a studious, brilliant classmate with no-nonsense attitude. Had been one of the top rankers, and he continued to be top in his professional career. Vijay Ahev, 32 years in Rashtriya Chemicals and Fertilizers, present today in the auditorium. Ever smiling Vijay, had been a great sports person as well, in addition to what is in the slide. So he has been a great sports person. He used to be a chess champion at UDCT and winner of storytelling competitions. So he mostly spent his time in RCF in building, erecting and commissioning new plants for RCF. Has been expert on erection, commissioning, HAZOP, quality energy management systems. Then we have Sanjay Ahevre, the professor among us. So he he is continuing to be in teaching in operations and supply chain management at Dalamo School of Business, backed several university teaching class excellence awards and authored several articles. He has been nominee for Carnegie Foundation US Professor of the Year 2015, designed a brand new operations and supply chain program and led it to a top 10 Gartner ranking in North America. He has more than 250 consulting projects in operations and supply chain management. He is the first tenured professor to be awarded ASQ 6 Sigma Master Black Belt. SD Avalkar, Shashank Avalkar, is in the auditorium today. He spent 4 years in consulting and 33 years in Rashtriya Chemicals and Fertilizers, successfully executed several projects, mainly into methanol downstreams like amines, acetamide, formic acid, worked as a technical services head. Shashank believes life is most beautiful gift of the God to all of us. He accepts challenges, being the step towards pinnacle of success. I believe, I agree, it's a great attitude. They got placed. Yeah. Okay, next our classmate is Ravind Bhagat. Worked in various functions of project management and engineering of APC projects in chemical, petrochemical and oil and gas industry. He is very much present in the auditorium today. Served companies like Polyolefins India Limited, Devi Power Gas, also worked as an independent engineering and marketing consultant, worked with Technimont ICT Petrofac Sharjah, Mott McDonald Consultants, involved in 6 years in equity research and investments. So any questions on market, get in touch with Raveen and he will assist us. Yeah. Chandak, he did his 82 batchmate, of course. Post that, he did a diploma in financial management from Mumbai University in 84. We never thought that Chandak will become an entrepreneur, but then after a small stint with NOSIL on polysilicon project and at Albert Moraji and Pandit Roha, he took a SICK unit and then started manufacturing epoxy paint, polyurethane paints, floor coatings for pharmaceutical and automotive industry, internal and external coatings for aluminum collapsible tubes and aluminum cans used in pharmaceutical industry, and coating for lamination and dome lining. Come, Kavi. Okay. Then we have Mr. Rajendra Chanorkar. He did his management studies from Jamanalal Institute. What we call Rajendra is lupin, because he has been instrumental in setting up benchmarks in operational excellence, EHS, product development at Lupin, and he continues to be at Lupin. Raju Desai, working as Vice President Operations and Corporate HR in Polyolefins, what we call it NOSIL now, a unique character, more known for his singing capabilities. So whenever we come together and we miss a music system, we have Raju with us, and that helps. Yeah. Besides being a part of NOSIL senior management team, Raju is active in industry associations and is director of TTC West Management Company. Maruti Dharmadhikari started with Gada Chemicals, spent a lot of time with Lupin, now with Sumitomo Chemicals. Dharma is a totally changed person. An extremely introvert, studious Dharma is now extremely extrovert. Loves singing in small groups and does whatever he missed during the UDCT days. Yeah. A loving, easygoing Dharma has seen a lot in life, but remained as a great, great friend. Deepak was always a researcher, continues to be a researcher. And you could see what he has been doing. So Deepak has been serious then and now, has chemical equations in his name for polymer liquid crystal rheology, which is, I would say, a great achievement. Then we have Rajendra Doshi, again totally different, away from a fundamental chemical engineering field, gone into risk analysis, assessing projects and advising on portfolio risks and capital allocation across asset classes. If you want to have advice on risk analysis and management, or want to have input on capital allocation, Rajan is the guy to contact. Followed by Rajesh Doshi, a hardcore management expert, known for his project management skills, as well as operations and logistic management skills. Concept to commercialization of projects is his DNA. He has been involved in several projects for the companies he worked for, mainly with 37 plus years. Yeah. Vilas Gaikar, I don't think I should say something about him, right? Yeah, it needs no introduction. Yeah. So, but Vilas has been the person behind today's event. He is one who kept us connected to ICT or UDCT in those olden days. Number of accolades to his credit. And he's a great colleague and of course a great professor, a great teacher. So the new students, the current students definitely hugely benefit with his expertise in teaching. Rahul Gaikwad. Rahul was our team's fast bowler. We never had a ground those days. We used to have a very stony ground where the hostels are there now, some of the hostels. But we used to still manage to play cricket. And on those bouncy pitches, he used to, 1982 batch used to win whatever internal matches we used to have. Dinesh went into his family business for textiles, and then of course did his MBA and started textile manufacturing yarn. Subsequently, he got into the spandex, all the sportwears what we get from. So he is the spandex man of the 1982 batch. Milind Gokhale worked with Elanti, worked with Uday, what called the Tyson Group. Milind looked like, you can see, looked like Sachin Tendulkar, but never ever held a cricket bat. Yeah. Extremely intelligent Milind has opinion on every topic, and serious opinion. Huh? Yeah. A great organizer and has tremendous initiative for getting into anything. Next follows the drumsticks man, KV Joshi. We used to call him Bhakya Joshi because he was really like a drumstick. He has put on some weight now, he's here. Yeah. And one of the most notorious person even today. So if you like in our WhatsApp group, if we have anybody puts anything serious, it will be countered by Joshi's a comic or a very witty post. So he keeps us happy and keeps us engaged positively. I.D. Joshi, again one of the top rankers of those days from our batch, remained, he had 30 years in progressive leadership roles in semiconductor industry, developed unique packaging solutions. As I said, continues to be topper in his professional career. Then Ashok Kamath is in the hall today. So Ashok Kamath worked for HICO, then worked for RCF, then also spent some time in Saudi Arabia. I don't remember, but we used to call him Lala Amarnath. Because whenever there used to be a cricket commentary or any discussion, what I recollect is he will have a particular voice of Lala Amarnath, and we used to therefore always call him Lala Amarnath. Prasad Kashibatla, yet another professor. He works with Duke University. We have to be very careful what we say about Prasad, because he gets otherwise wild in no time. Yeah. So I would rather say nothing about him. Yeah? Yeah, he's almost 6 footers. Yeah. Yeah, Kashi Bhatla, why don't you stand, huh? Yeah. So we used to have two tall guys. One is Kashi and other one is Vajpal. He's also here today. Yeah. Ravindra Kate, Gavavi polyesters, all along Gavavi polyesters, right? Yeah. He works in Aurangabad. Then C.P. Kelkar. Of course, he after UDCT he did MS from University of Kentucky, and then did PhD in chemical engineering. Exxon, then of course, fluid catalytic developments, co-inventors of patents, and lead team of BSF Innovation Award twice in past 10 years. Continues to be with BSF. Lakshmi Prasad Kelkar. So Kelkar is, besides his varied job experience, he is consultant for achieving manufacturing excellence, supply chain management, and systematic loss elimination. So I asked him what is systematic loss elimination. He says that is we do it with systems. Okay, so fine, thank you. Wants to know what will happen. If you want to know what is going to happen in the stock markets, he is a great astrologer, particularly with respect to stock markets. So want to invest something, ask him where to invest. And his tips have been right, just some of my colleagues say. Vishwas Kunte. Okay. He did his also Chem from UDCT. A great chemical engineer, but his love for nature, specifically watching birds and animals, is phenomenal. He educates us everyday basis by putting wonderful pictures and posts. So he puts the pictures and also explains that so that we understand. Otherwise, engineers normally don't understand all these kind of things, right? But he does that. So his daily posts are wonderful. Loves trekking, and many of our batchmates have gone on trekking by he inducing us to go on trekking. Thank you, Vishwas. Okay.
He's a guy who has spent most of the time in Saudi Arabia.
Oh.
And he ensured the company that he has worked has really prospered. After a very long stint, he returned back to India. Today he works with Deepak Fertilizers, has been doing a great job. He is the guy who was over CR for the 4 years, and you want to get the things done, he's the guy to go to.
Thank you. Thank you for those kind words, Vilas. We have Kivat Mehta. He did his engineering, but post-engineering he joined the family business for hybrid seeds and floriculture business and marketing exquisite flowers. We met in Shidal's daughter's marriage, and he was carrying, these days you need in his phone album on, the flower decorations, and it is really wonderful to watch what kind of decorations, designs he has created. Dilip Moje, Reliance guy, and then left and landed up in UK. Had been out of contact most of the time, but recently, thanks again to Ketan and the WhatsApp group and the latest communication social media, that Dilip is back with us. RP Nakade, again, Dilip is here and Rajendra is also here. He worked for RCF and Reliance Industries. Nakade spent most of his time in process safety, not only departments but also process safety education, also bringing in awareness of industrial safety. He also did a lot of efforts in policy, advocating policies with respect to safety with the government of India. And in addition to doing the PSM or the process safety management, he and his wife are great naturopaths. So if you look at them, you will see how fit they are with, with the naturopathy they follow and they practice. Govinath Naik, the mystery writer, right? That's the, we used to have, in those days, a writer called Govinath Naik who used to write mystery books. Only the name resembles. He himself is otherwise a very open gentleman. Yeah, but nicknamed Hitler by his colleagues for all his, he being a very hard taskmaster, no nonsense business. Work is work. And that's what Govinath Naik is known. Deepak Parlikar, he is not here today. He works in Saudi Arabia for last 27 years. I always say I did 20 years, he did 27 years. So I said, I didn't take the citizenship, maybe Deepak should try. Yeah. But the good thing about Deepak is he's an extremely talented singer. We used to call him in Saudi Arabia when we used to have a family get-togethers, we used to have singing programs and we used to call him a singing Trimurti. That is the way he used to sing Mohammad Rafi, Mukesh and Manade songs was just wonderful. And he continues to do that. And he also continues to teach Indian students in Indian schools there the singing. So that's the great quality of Deepak. Deepak Parik, Dr. Deepak Parik, right? He's here. He flew from Bangkok. Yeah. Spent most of his time in US and all over. Deepak, I don't want to mention that, right? Otherwise, Deepak was known for his foul language. किसी को भी कब गाली मिलेगी पता नहीं. But he did great in his corporate world. I'm sure he must have dropped that habit. Thank you. B.R. Patil, again one of the top rankers in the 1982 batch, was always among the first 5. Worked in RCF and now works in Gulf. Very, very particular guy, very, very specific character what Deepak, about B.R. Patil was. You tell him a joke today, he will laugh tomorrow. Padik Patki, the manager, he's here. Yeah. So, Pradeep spent most of his time in tire industry. Recently retired but not tired. Yeah. So, he has been always a manager. So, we used to call him, his nickname was manager, to manage things. So, today's function also, he managed but made us work. Vijay Rajpal, one of, again, the tall personality from our batch. He is in the hall. He spent some time with RCF, also spent a lot of time in Abu Dhabi. Recently returned back to India. Srinath Rao. Yep. He's again one of tall personalities in the batch. He has a very peculiar walking style. I still remember the way he used to walk between hostel and the college. He was expected here, but unfortunately couldn't make. So we miss him today. Yeah. Ajay is here again. As you see, Ajay is mostly, after initial employment, he started his own work, and he is an all-rounder. Used to be good at cricket, badminton, and now all-rounder in the field of chemicals, logistics, and design of agitators. A buddy of Bakul Shah. Yeah. And Bakul, the next one is of course Bakul. Yeah. So Bakul spent with Gada Chemicals, and then he has been mainly in interest in mixing solutions, logistics, chemicals trading, and of course is equally active in stock market. Ashok Shinde. Ashok used to be a captain of the team, and he continues to be a captain of whatever he's doing, mainly into currently into the investment portfolio management services, providing the computer solutions or software solutions to this field. He captained himself to be also a tax consultant and engineered software solutions and services for an investment portfolio management services company called InvestNet. Sridhar, yeah, you heard him. So he did, he did his MSc and MPhil, and then MBA. He spent a lot of time with Shell, both in USA and Holland. We call him prematurely retired but not tired. Yeah. If you want to get done anything, contact Sridhar. Another guy completely transformed from serious, studious student to practical, innovative leader to witty, light-hearted friend. So he has these three phases in his life. Nachiket worked at Ultra Labs, but we never thought that Nachiket will, leave the job and get into a business of his own. But then that is what exactly he did. A hidden talent we could never recognize at that point of time. And he very much appreciates, when he started his own process engineering, process design company and subsequently project management company, he appreciates a lot of assistance, a lot of help he received from some of our classmates like Dharmadhikari, like Dilip Morje, like Chinorkar, Bakul, Ketan, Kunte, and others. So he runs a successful process engineering company. Vinod Tuliani, yeah. The quality of Vinod was not very, kind of extrovert, but whatever he will say will be extremely inspiring. So it was a pleasure to have an interaction with him because we have to make him talk, but what he will say will be extremely inspiring, and that's what we remember of Vinod. Besides, we also have one of our colleagues, we couldn't put a slide on him, and that is Dr. Devat Nath. Nath is here today. Yeah. He is a visiting lecturer at Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar University in Marathwada University, and then he is also assistant professor at Rajashri Sahu University, as well as MGM Institute of Management. He is here today. Yeah. So, dear sirs, our gurus, we remain ever indebted to you for you being as our professors, our mentors, our coach, and indebted to this great institute, what is UDCT or what is it called now, ICT, and all its supporting staff who help us come where we are today. Thank you very much.
So, sirs and madam, you had our report card, and I'm sure that we have kept ourselves to your expectations. Our batch, which has actually seen the crossover of 2 centuries and 2 millennia. Our batch has seen the technological developments right from our first year. If you recall, we were the first batch to get an access to the calculator. And we moved from the slide rule to the calculator. And the first time that calculators which we had, they used to consume at least 2 battery cells every day. Unlike what we get now, the solar cells based calculators. And we had some of the very interesting memories of our life here. And of course, no reunion like us will be without those memories. So I'd like to call couple of my classmates, Raju Desai and Dharmadhikari, and myself and Sridhar, we will try to add on something, whatever we can, right?
You can do city.
This is like more like sometimes a lighter moments of a life. It was a very heavy dosage. We used to come 8:30 in the morning, work right up to 5:30, and if we had the demonstrators like Bhave and Smita Lele, we had work even beyond 5:30. Sometimes we have completed the calculations at 7 o'clock, but it was an extremely important lesson that we learned. Complete a job and then go home, right? So Dharma and Raju.
Yeah. Hi friends. How does it feel to be here? After so many years, 37 and a half to be exact. Very excited? Nostalgic? Actually, today morning when I was traveling with Milind in his car, his wife mentioned, that look at these people, they're excited like small children. So I think all of us are having that feeling. It is a bit of a homecoming for us. The 4 years which we spent here, they are actually etched very deeply in our mind. And those are the years which have actually made us progress in our career and in our life. Those 4 years have contributed a great deal to our career. What do you say, Raju?
Yeah, I fully agree with you, and I would like to share my first memory of this college when I took admission here. I don't know why, but at that point of time, UDCT as an institute, so prominent institute, was not that well known in Mumbai city. So when I took admission here, and I told some of my friends and relatives, then they first question they asked me, "अरे आपको BSc में नहीं मिला क्या admission?" Or you did not get admission in Bhagubhai College. That was the comment at that time. When I engaged one dabawala to deliver my tiffin to the college, I gave him the address UDCT. So he said, "ऐसी कोई college नहीं है." I was like, "College where?" I then directed him here. Yeah, that is called Dagadi College. So, because of the stone structure of this college, I think this was known as Dagadi College amongst the dabawalas.
Raju, I think I can add something more here. The first impression that when I had come here for taking admission, actually to find out where UDCT is. Because I had taken admission in VCTI and somebody asked me the question, "You didn't take admission in UDCT?" I said, "What is UDCT?" So first time when I came here, I walked across that road as seeing that this is like a hospital with a green curtain. Not only that, today I heard that comment that this looks like a hospital. But our first impression, at least my first impression was, because there was there's some Ackworth Leprosy Hospital, and because there's nobody standing out. Everybody outstanding is inside. Nobody's outside.
Yeah, really it was so, and it was all really funny. But still, Raju, you know that this institute has a great importance in our life and also chemical industry life in India.
So later on we realized during our 4 years and subsequent careers how this institute has been instrumental in shaping our lives. Not only the institute, the chemical engineering department in particular, and the corridor of chemical engineering, which will never go away from our mind, occupied by the most knowledgeable people in the industry and chemical engineering. The stalwarts, some of them are sitting here, who have not only helped in shaping my life, my colleagues' life, but the entire chemical industry of this country, this corridor is known for. Not only the chemical industry, but it has contributed immensely to the economy of this country, and this corridor is responsible for that. I will never forget that.
Very nice, Dharma and Raju, to hear what other people used to think about us and your first impressions. But tell me more about your first impressions when you came into the college and your first impression of the first lecture you got here.
The first lecture which I attended was in a classroom on the right side, on the opposite side here, which was delivered by Professor M.M. Sharma, who is sitting here amongst us today. And what he told us has never gone out of my mind. And that was, he, in that lecture, told us about all the chemical engineering unit operations and how they are part of our functioning of the entire body, be it drying, be it filtration, be it heat transfer, be it mass transfer, distillation, process control. You name any of the unit operations, they are existing in our body today. And I gave this example which has been etched in my mind for so many years to maybe hundreds of chemical engineers with whom I have worked with. I have quoted this example.
So Raju, you've been using Professor Sharma's lectures. Did you ask for permission? Are you sure he doesn't have a patent on it?
Sorry sir, I did not do that.
Yeah, but coming back, it was the professors, or the truth is that the professors actually made this institute renowned and the prestigious as it was. And all the professors who taught us in those 4 years, their teaching is deeply etched in our mind, along with their style also. The things which they taught us, basically, that has really made us progress in our life. I remember one of our professors, Professor Vaz, who used to teach us the inorganic chemistry. So he taught us rare earth metals, and many of the names of those rare earth metals were hard to remember, but he taught us really well. And sometimes, of course, we were wondering, are we doing a course on metallurgy or are we learning the chemical engineering? His style used to be like, he used to speak very fast, but also very low. And only 2 or 3 rows in front used to be able to hear what he was saying. It also required very special skill to write down what he was teaching. And very few in our class could actually master that skill. Rajesh Agni was one student who was able to really write down each and every word what Professor Vaz was teaching. And his notes were in great demand. And he also taught us Schrodinger equation, which to date I think many of my colleagues don't really know where to use.
Yeah, and next who comes to my mind is Professor K.H. Shah, who taught us organic chemistry. The first task when we joined UDCT in the first year was to chase our seniors to get Gunston volumes. I don't know how many of you remember Gunston volumes. They were the kind of pocket-sized booklets on organic chemistry. I think at that point of time was available only in UDCT in the entire world. Nowhere these Gunston volumes were available, and we had to take it from our seniors. And it was continuing. Each junior used to take it from their seniors. But what professors taught us in organic chemistry, the fundamentals of organic chemistry, has helped us immensely in our career further.
And we also had Professor Ghosh. He was like Churchill among the professors, with his trademark cigar and a very immaculate British accent, British English and accent. Much of the physical chemistry which is taught us was like bouncers for many of us, except maybe few front benchers.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. But there were other professors who taught us besides chemistry also in the first couple of years. Can you say something about them?
Yeah, that reminds me of Professor Sauraja, who taught us industrial economics. He used to come from Ruhia College to teach us here. At that time, we were not clear why we are being taught economics, in the chemical engineering discipline. But later on in life, as we went along in the industry, we realized that how the knowledge of economics is so important in decision-making processes when you work in an industry. And one example which he gave us at that time about marginal utility related it to consumption of mangoes. That is still, I remember that example from Professor Sauraja.
You talked about a few of the challenges that you faced when you came here. But can you talk us about other challenges which are non-academic?
Yeah, one more challenge, like Gunston volume, was to get lockers. If some old timers remember, there used to be wooden lockers all along the corridors of chemical engineering department over here. And to get a locker was a big task because we had to keep our T-squares and drafters which we were using in engineering drawing classes. And sometimes the lockers were given between two students, we have to use and somebody is not coming, or he is not attending on that day, then there were some difficulties. And that reminds me of Professor Dixit, who taught us industrial engineering drawings, where we learned the dotted lines and the straight lines and isometric drawings, etc., which later on helped us in our life.
Yeah, actually in the engineering subjects in first 2 years, we also had Professor Tamankar who taught us strength of materials. We learned how to design trusses and the structural members, etc. Then we also had Professor Navalkar for electrical engineering, where we learned about the synchronous motors and the star delta connections. Then we also had Professor Subramaniam. We used to call him lovingly Professor Subbu, who taught us heat engines and how to make use of the steam tables. I remember one very funny incident in Professor Subbu's class. He was teaching and then he suddenly asked, tell me how does the steam engine work? And he made one of the students stand up. Poor chap probably was not paying attention to what was going on. So he again asked for the question and then Professor Subramaniam repeated that tell me how the steam engine works. And he answered, in a very confused state of mind. It runs because of the coal. So, so Professor Subramaniam was very upset. He said, come on, सिगड़ी में मैं कोयला डालता हूँ, तो क्या सिगड़ी भागेगी?
I need to add one more thing about Subramaniam. He used to take the calculator of the guy sitting in the first bench. And his way of using calculator was like hammering the keys. And the person whose calculator is like, what is going to happen to my calculator? It was very expensive.
So the first 2 years of our study here was mainly related to chemistry and some other engineering subjects like electrical and heat engines and others. Real chemical engineering subject started from third year.
Yes. And in third year we had Professor Chandalia teaching us the chemical process industry, and in that he did his best to instill in us a sense of responsibility toward the environment and people. I remember he used to mention the Minamata Bay incident, which very few of us had heard or probably none of us had heard before. But he used it so often that that really created a kind of a concept among us about how to be responsible towards the environment. And similarly, chemical process economics, like he always emphasized on the economy of the scale, economy of the process, and how to select the right technology for the process. Then he also taught us the reaction kinetics. I remember in one test, he gave a very simple but a very tricky question. And many of us actually failed to see that it had to do with the equilibrium reaction kinetics. And so obviously few could answer it. But then I think Sridhar, you were the one of those who could answer it.
Yes, that was my lucky day. Yeah, I could just about manage to see that small trick and just do it. Anyway, that was nice. But if I look back on my chemical engineering days and my chemical engineering professors, which class was the most attended, do you feel, Raju?
So I think during your presentation at the beginning, he spoke about one of our professor, Dr. Rajadhyaks. Unfortunately, he is not there amongst us today. But he was the most popular professor, and his class were the most attended classes. In the initial years, he taught us metal balance, energy balance, reaction engineering. And later, he taught us some advanced subjects like molecular sieves and catalysis, which some of us and many other students later took as their research subjects. So I remember Professor Rajadhyaks was the most attended.
Yes.
And then, we had Professor Tiwari, who taught us process control and Laplace transformations. Some of us started wondering actually that did we make a mistake in joining chemical engineering, and are we going to spend our future only learning the Laplace transformation?
Yeah, and subsequent to that, for a brief period, Professor Vasudeva taught us process control. And then later on, I think he had to leave the institute for some other assignments outside.
And we also had Professor Maskar, who taught us numerical analysis. Professor Maskar was very sharp, and he was also very fast. Sometimes it felt, that he was teasing us. But, then it was obvious that he was trying to make us sort of extend or stretch our capabilities to think out of box. In one periodic test, he gave a problem to solve. And normally periodic test used to be of an hour or so. So at the end of an hour, he came and he saw that very few people had even started attempting the problem. So he said that, guys, you can take 1 more hour to solve this problem.
Yeah, I remember that, but let me tell you that even in that extra 1 hour, you could not do anything. And at the end of this, when the results came, most of us got D grade in that periodic test.
But, fortunately, we had a Professor Bhave in computer lab. And we started to learn Fortran programming from him. And it helped us in capturing what Professor Maskar was teaching us. And then it's all started falling in place and it started making sense.
Yeah, that reminds me, see, today we are seeing all these computers and laptops and all those gadgets. In those days, UDCT or most of the institutes did not have any computers. We used to punch cards. Some of you may not have seen also. And those cards, bunch of that card we used to carry either to the computer at VJTI or the computer at TIFR at Colaba and give those cards, get an output. And most of the time those outputs will come out with most of the errors. We never got a final output through those TIFR computers. It reminds me of that.
Actually, if you remember, we used to use up that budget that was allocated for our computer class so quickly that poor Professor Bhave would have to go back to the chemical engineering faculty and ask for additional budget to get us to continue our work. And within that, he would get additional budget and that would be blown off in another 3 days. So that continued. But coming back to Dr. Maskar and Professor Bhave, that was a great combination. Were there other combinations like that?
Yes, surely there was. Professor Kale and Professor Sawant, who used to teach us the topics of heat transfer and fluid flow. And their teaching was so much in tandem that what we learned in one particular lecture was applicable and useful in other lecture and vice versa. That was a great team. They had made an art of teaching in that way, and that was a great duo and great combination.
That heat transfer reminds me of Professor Chiute. Was a very quiet, calm person. He taught us heat exchanger designs, double pipe and other types of heat exchangers designs. And I remember Professor Chiute.
Yeah, Professor Chiute is very well remembered by me, especially because he was my home paper guide during my final year.
Yeah, the home paper reminds me that in the final year we would do a project work called home paper in UDCT. And as he said, Professor Chiute was his guide, and very proudly I'd say that my guide was Professor J.B. Joshi, who is sitting here in front of us today. Thank you very much, sir. One of the most outstanding chemical engineer, Professor J.B. Joshi. He taught us reactor design, modeling, and he is also very calm, quiet, will listen to you, and he had the habit of writing most of the things on the board to explain to the students. I remember, sir. Thank you very much.
Similarly, we had Professor Pangarkar, who was also very simple and taught us the subject of mass transfer and distillation techniques very competently. I think those subjects like mass transfer or distillation, they are used by most of us in our day-to-day use in our profession.
Professor M.V. Joshi and Professor H.M. Rao, they taught us equipment design. In fact, there was a book by Professor M.V. Joshi on equipment design. Most of the chemical engineers at that time and subsequently for so many years used his book, whenever they had an issue of doing an equipment design. I remember those professors.
In chemical engineering, we also had our lab practicals, and Professor Palwe, I remember him. He used to do a lot of hand holding and give us guidance in those lab practicals. And he also inculcated a very important habit in all of us, and that was to refer Perry.
Whenever we used to approach Professor Palve on any issue, he would first thing he would say, please refer Perry. so he inculcated that habit of using Perry.
And we also had Professor Lele. She made sure that we did our experiments sincerely and we understood the theory and the concept behind that particular experiment. She was very diligent and she was very supportive for all of us. I also remember one more incident what happened in the lab. Myself along with two of my table mates. So we did an experiment on the York-Shibble column and it was a liquid extraction. And we did all the readings and completed our work and all that. And I don't know how, maybe mistake or inadvertent or whatever, at the end of the experiment, we drained the entire solvent from the column. I think it was an expensive solvent. It was MIBK or something like that. And Professor Lele was extremely upset with us. We had to also pay penalty for that. But she also made us realize one more thing. Besides the cost, it was getting drained in the gutter and it was also sort of an environmental problem. So it remained in mind.
She was angry at that time, but today she is laughing at us.
Yeah. And then we had Professor M.R. Sawant in our chemistry lab. He was sort of our go-to person and always supportive and very, very helpful.
Yeah. Talking about people who helped us with laboratories, I would like to talk about Dr. Kalkar. He used to help us with our physics laboratory. But like many professors, they would help us with non-academic things also. I remember this was the first year. Getting into UDCT even today, those days was probably even more difficult. I don't know how it is today, but it was very difficult to get into Calcutta. Some of us like me, we used to come here with the feeling of we are the greatest in the world and nobody could beat us. Yeah? So in that little arrogance that we had, it happened that on one particular lab experiment afternoon, I happened to mention one of Dr. Kalkar's colleagues, and I referred to him, he was also doing PhD at that time, I referred to him as that chap. That chap? That is not said. Dr. Kalkar pulled me aside, gave me a long mentoring, coaching lecture about saying, this is not the way you talk about professors and seniors. And that has remained in my mind even today. And I thank you for that lesson, Dr. Kalkar.
Yeah, when you mention about the physics lab, it reminds me that we had Professor N.V. Bhatt who taught us physics in our first year, and he taught us about light and optics related topics. And we also had Professor Nyayadhish and Professor Chakravarti who taught us about the mathematics, both in the first year and later on as it became chemical engineering mathematics. So that was really fun, during all those 4 years. And we can never forget all our professors.
Yeah, that's very true.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we have covered, but I think some of us have some very special memories and we want to talk about it. I think Deepak Parikh, can I invite you here?
Thanks, Geiger. While I was driving here this morning, it brought me a lot of memories of days of UDCT. And after 82, I departed, and I settled down in US pretty much. But the grace of God, it might be, I had few assignments where I had to come back to India. It was with pleasure I took the roles and had wonderful opportunities. What I want to reflect is the life after UDCT and the personal connection and the values that we picked up during our days. And that has, I think Dilip said it, it has been engraved in our lives. And the way we do certain things, it just resonates. So first example I'll give you, when I came back, it was about almost after 20 years, and I was heading Dow Chemicals activity in India at that time. And I looked at our diversity ratio of the male-female colleagues, and it was absolutely pathetic. Chemical industry, goes without saying, but also we were absolutely very, very low in our female, just in general, in Dow Chemical that time. It was early 2000, I would say, 2003-4 time frame. And then I happened to meet Professor Sharma. And one of the things he said, he expressed his passion about how important it is to the chemical industry, have a female in the chemical industry. We talked a little bit, and then I went back and I talked to my HR head global. So I would like to do something here and see what can we do for recruitment. And in the very same room, I brought my global team of HR, and we started the active program of how we're going to recruit female in chemical industry. And while we're pulling this together, it kind of resonated extremely well. And Sridhar put together a small blurb in our group about the diversity of our 60 classmates. We had no female in our team. And it's a kind of looking back, how can the world be without having female colleagues and participants in the life when a 50-50 population is male-female. So to take it further, last year at American Chemical Council, Dow Chemical was recognized as the most favorable chemical company for female career in chemical industry. And I thought that was resonated. And the genesis started in this very same room with the inspiration that you had. And this room was mainly full that time with female students and professors. So that was I said it takes a catalyst, and there was a catalyst that you provided Professor Sharma that day to our HR team. Thank you. The second one about the chemical industry has been going it's on a steroid since 2009 recession. And if I look at it as American Chemical Council has put $200 billion of new investment on the Gulf Coast. But Indian Chemical Council is equally engaged in putting together the whole, what the next it could be. So dealing with Deepak Mehta, the Thirumalai, Vipul Shah, Nanavati, and all the leaders of the industry, and quite actively engaged with them, and always had quite a bit of interaction with Professor Yadav and Professor Sharma during that meetings. And I can tell you, it's not just academics, but also the shaping of the industry, what happens, and they've been kind of acting as the guru, the advisor of the industry to shape. So it's well beyond this classroom. We go in the corporate world, we do our jobs, but what's next? What's missing? And kind of voice of reason. But a couple years ago, I was here. We recognized Bob Patel, one of the Indian origin person. He's the Lyondell Basel's CEO, which is about $40 billion company, and we had dinner at, I think it was a Taj on the top, and Professor Sharma were there and recognizing that. But I can tell you that the Indian colleagues, leaders, are making huge impact in the global arena in multiple ways, and a lot of the roots are tied back to our UD I'm very proud of that. So a lot of the things that we do behind the scene, as we get out of the things in our professional life, and as you saw the 37 years later, many of them have achieved so many different things, and tribute goes to our DNA, which ties to here. And one last thing I want to mention about Professor Dixit. He probably might not remember this, but I was not one of those students like Joshi or Agni. I was not the brightest chemical engineering student. I was okay, but somehow it gave me the sense of ownership in your material science class. And I made a point, I'm going to study in material science. And I didn't even apply for my graduate degrees into chemical engineering. Went straight into
having Professor Sauraja with us.
Good afternoon. So continue with this one, please. So Professor Dixit inspired me on material science. I made my career in material science. I went to University of Utah, had privilege to work on the artificial heart project on first Jarvik 7, and also got into really hardcore material science, plastics inspired me. And it really brought something out of me. It's, when I took the decision, you were in Nagpur, and my family was not convinced. So I personally decided to go and consult Professor Dixit. So I went to his home on a hot summer day in Nagpur, temperature was 40 plus, and I sat his home for 2 hours. And he advised me why it is important if you follow your passion. And all these things you hear about Warren Buffett telling the kids what to do and so on, but the kind of thing what he told me in 2 years, been eye-opener. And I'm living your principle, values, give more than you take. Thank you. And one last thing, Professor Sharma, one thing I was with ICC leaders recently at the planning meeting with at the GPCA in Dubai earlier in the November. And discussion came up about what to add in the capacity in the country and some of the things. And a lot of the wisdom that you pull out from your back pocket, we need to put this plant here and this one is necessary in the country and so on in infrastructure. And it's been very, very critical with respect to, so it's not just the petrochemical, but they were thinking more in terms of downstream, the whole ethylene oxides, the derivatives, and the vision of the articulated infrastructure. And the things that you start with, you say something, but it resonates among the leaders and in terms of the investment and really transpires into the shaping the industry. And McKinsey just put together a new report about India's future in terms of chemical industry, what's lacking, what we need to do. And I can read that and look, so many of these things that you shared with us are kind of transpiring in terms of the actual investments and the capex. So life is much beyond 4 years. It's 37 years of practicing this, what we learn in the rooms here, and the friends that we made here, all this thing along the way. And I was so impressed with what I hear about some of the things in the environmental and some of the areas. I was in Davos, not to toot the horn there, but for 2 days I spent, and I tell you there's so much going on, and I made connection with our friends who are into that space, and I would like to follow up, like Bartla is right. Prasad, he used to be the tall guy here, but he's a professor at Duke. He lives in my town in Raleigh. He can contribute to the society of what he passionately does in the environmental. And I can tell you that we are the leaders that you created who has to leave your legacy and take it to the next level. So thank you again.
Dear friend, I was singularly lucky to get this 4 years along with you, but I stayed back. Actually, I never graduated that way from my city. The person who had made a huge change in my life was my guide and the mentor, Professor Sharma. And as I said, I was singularly lucky from a batch to stay back and work with. In fact, in 4 years, I never had a guts to enter his cabin, not even a knock on his door. The first time I entered in his room, when I was taken there by Dr. Sawant, immediately after a graduation, and he told Professor Sharma, this boy is not doing masters. That was the reason, that particular incident actually made me to stay back and continue to do my PhD with him, continue with in the institute. But I remember wherever I had gone there and I say, I'm from UDCT, Sharma School. See, that is how in fact it was the institute was, even UDCT as such was recognized. He had done such a tremendous contribution to this institution. Whatever today we are as an institute, not only at the national level but the international levels, these are stalwarts like Professor Sharma who are responsible for it. So now we're starting the main reason why we are here, all of us together. And I would like to invite Moorje, Vijay Aher, Deepak Parekh, and Deepak Doraiswamy here. And may I, sir, request you to join us?
I'm loud enough.
May I invite Ravin Bhagat, Vishwas Kunte, Pradeep Patki, and Vijay Rajpal. Now invite Kasi Bhatla, Ajay Shah, Bakul,
Professor Dixit.
Gurunath Nayak. Kelkar. And Narkade. We have anyway. Take it up.
लेखला पण बॉक्स देऊ शकता का? लेखला पण बॉक्स देऊन टाकून नंतर जाऊन एक दोन जण लेखचे बॉक्स पण देऊ.
Patki, can I request you to felicitate our Vice Chancellor with a floral bouquet? Oh, it's a bigger one. and also our registrar, Dr. Deshmukh. A big thank you to all of you, and please give a big round of applause to everybody, all our professors. Thank you very much, sir. I think we have heard you when we were students here, but we will still ask you to give your advice, to words of wisdom again to us. So since Professor Joshi wanted to leave early, can I request you to quickly tell us 2 words?
Thanks all of you for making part of such a wonderful function. I wish you all the best for your remaining career as well as life and excellent health. These days I'm busy with taking science to society, president of Marathi Vignan Parishad. We, as Indians, we innovate very little, and therefore we import many things from outside. And there is a strong correlation between innovations which are done in the society versus per capita income. And we don't innovate mainly because the scientific temper is very poor. So I'm busy with improving scientific temper of the society. All the school children, they don't do experiments themselves. There are a variety of programs. And we go to the schools and see to it that the school children perform their experiments, on about 100 experiments. And we do it on Saturday, and the presence is more than their regular classes. The headmasters write to us, what is the magic that you are doing that the students are attending more in your experimental class than the theory class that we have. I'm enjoying it. I'm also associated with atomic energy and working on projects after Fukushima accident, how to make reactors safe. We have erected pilot plants. Those studies are also over, and our recommendations have been accepted by Atomic Energy Commission. So new reactors that will come, that will have all those safety features. I'm also busy with developing technologies for the benefit of society. I, together with my colleagues, visited 3 poor districts of Maharashtra, that is the Sindhudurga, the Nandurbar, and the eastern district, Chandrapur, and we discussed about what is that they are facing problems. The topmost was the fertility of the land is going down day by day, and can some science do something about it? And during the last 5 years, we have done something substantial. The major problem is the soil carbon, which is supposed to be 2%, and average of India is 0.2%. And by doing pyrolysis of biomass, we generate char, and that char, we give it back to the soil for improving. That char also has capacity of water retaining as well as the macronutrients which are required. So for 2 crops, that is sweet sorghum and soybean, we have been able to show the maintaining the fertility of land and increasing productivity up to 100%. So that has been very successful, and therefore we have taken 10 more technologies, that is from grapes, the drying part of it, and drying is so important. If we reduce the time, whatever is the current time for making resins, if we reduce to half, then all the grapes will be made use of, and the economy will improve by another 20,000 crores. The cashew nut apples, more than 22 lakh tons are just thrown in one district. That is another equivalent to 40,000 crores. I will not give big lecture, which I gave enough when you are. But such technologies are very, very important, and it will increase the per capita income of the society. The principal job that I am interested in is to improve the scientific temper and improve the innovativeness of the next generation. Thank you for giving me this time. Thank you very much.
We just missed one person. Mr. Udas, who is the president of University Alumni Association, is here. May I request Sridhar to just do the honors, please? May I request now, Professor Sharma, so can we hear something from you? We are all ears all the time.
My dear students, you made me nostalgic. When I came in, I was a young boy, I was 17, little boy, completely new to Mumbai. And I even grew in height while I was here in the first year, from 5'4" to 5'8". So you were talking about your, how you came, what was the place, how did that big stone building. I am never tired of two incidences I've had in the city of Bombay, meeting some doctors. He says, oh, you are director of that place. Two ways to describe. One, very difficult to get in. Oh, two, same place where Mukesh Ambani studied. So they have become kind of a benchmarker. But I compliment you for the manner in which you organize this particular function. I think many classes have organized function, but you had some uniqueness in the way in which you have organized this function. I compliment you. Two, as a lifetime teacher, I'm never tired of saying that we bask in the glory of our former students. And how delighted I am, along with my other colleagues, to see you have proved the versatility of chemical engineering, because the manner in which we have read the description of your classmates to this booklet makes a very impressive reading, that people having done chemical engineering, they have excelled in many other areas, right from going to the top of the companies. But it makes us very proud of our alumni. And I think all of you, all of us, I consider myself, because all my life has been spent here. So in a way, I'm somewhat different than many other people, because not only I lived in the hostel, I lived in the staff quarters, I lived in the director's flat. My daughter studied here, who happens to be here just for a short visit. My son studied here. So I've lived all my life. I have walked on the terrace. I walked in the front, and therefore I have been breathing this place all my life. Even today, I do visit library or I come for the functions like this with tremendous interest. When Vilas Geiger had come along with his classmate almost 2 months ago.
Yes, 2 months ago.
So I made sure that I had all the time, irrespective of what I had at home. And I am so happy to be here amongst all of you to see all that you have done. I compliment you and I wish you a great future. Thank you.
like to request now Professor Chandalia, we want to hear your poem, sir. He's a great orator in Hindi. Okay.
I was very pleasantly surprised when I got email from Professor Gaikar about this gathering. Today, the whole society has become transactional. If today's point of view, students would have said, we use your services as a teacher or we use you as a teacher. Instead of that, all this respect you have shown us, I think it is great tradition of India. Now, as far as I am concerned, I have been also a student of this institute, and thanks to the university not discouraging inbreeding, I could get opportunity here. Whether inbreeding is desirable or undesirable needs to be debated. We do not know the counterfactual situation, so I don't know how we would have performed. That is for society to judge. As far as myself, I had passion for learning, and I got this great opportunity in this great institute. In fact, many subjects which I taught, they were learnt by me on my own effort. I had no formal training. I would particularly mention chemical reaction engineering and perspectives of science, society, and technology. Because of academic freedom given here, I could teach a subject like perspective of science, society, and technology, which is in the domain of sociology of science, where I had no formal qualification. Now today, I would like to tell my perception. For this, I will refer to a sort of couplet of Urdu Shair in the 19th century, Ghalib. At that time, Bahadur Shah Jafar was the king, and he was patronizing poets. So Ghalib says, Bana hai Shah ka Musahib, Shah means Bahadur Shah Jafar. Bana hai Shah ka Musahib, fire hai itrata, vagarna shahr mein Ghalib ki abru kya hai. On the same lines I am saying, because it is not my original poem, Bana hai UDCT ka teacher, fire hai itrata, vagarna shahr mein Chandalia ki abru kya hai. Those who do not understand Hindi or Urdu, I would say, he moves with pride. He has been teacher of UDCT. Otherwise, what honor or dignity Chandalia has in this city of Mumbai. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. May I request Professor Dikshit, if you want to say something.
First, I will take this opportunity to congratulate Dr. Aniruddha Pandit, because after becoming a Vice Chancellor, I am seeing him for the first time. And then all my colleagues in UDCT, all my students and other faculty members. In this UDCT, during those days, and I don't know whether it is true today also, I was the only person who was not a UDCTian as a student. I came from IIT Kanpur. So, my way of doing things, thinking, were conditioned by whatever happened in IIT Kanpur, and then suddenly I came over here. Those were the days when, as many people had said, UDCT was very well known, was not very well known even in Bombay. So when I was given this offer by the then director, Professor J.G. Kane, I said, what is this UDCT? Where is it? Then he explained to me in short. I had just submitted my PhD thesis. I said, okay, I am joining this. And after that, I remained here for the whole of my career, for 30 years. 30 years. And I taught in this hall day after day, years after years, for 30 years and enjoyed teaching here. So I thank Almighty very much that He put me in the company of such good people, intelligent people, and I learned from them many things. Especially I came in contact with Professor Sharma almost weekly or daily sometimes, and he made me shift to various departments. I joined here as a reader in metallurgical engineering and fuels, being a PhD in metallurgy. Then one fine morning you say you come to chemical engineering. So I went to chemical engineering. And then after another 10-15 years, I became the head of the applied chemistry department, thanks to Professor Sharma. I had a basic qualification in chemistry also. So he naturally put me there. I did develop it the way I could. And for all this, I thank all my colleagues, Professor Yadav, Professor Aniruddha, and all others, Chandalia and others. You will know one thing which I want to point out. Here there are 3 vice chancellors sitting. Of course, Joshi has gone, including him. But Professor Sharma was not a vice chancellor of this institute. He never enjoyed such things. He made several vice chancellors all over India in the selection committee. The title the designation he always liked was professor, and nothing else, nothing short of professor. And he told it to me several times. He said, what is all this? I can become any day director of NCL or this or that. But professor is a professor. So such a man dedicated to academics, to his work, you would rarely find. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, all of you.
There is one person that we enjoyed learning economics and the different laws of economics, right? So, Professor Sauraja would like to hear a few words from you.
I would like to continue to teach. That's my passion. And I enjoy it so much. And I do inspire very many students of mine also. What India needs is teachers, good teachers, and very many good teachers. So I must really compliment and thank all of you for having a meeting of this type. Perhaps for the first time, We have all been invited, and not by many other institutes. UDCT, unique in its character. Well, I am not going to talk much, but थ्रोट का थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम है, तो मैं जरा कुछ आपको I had carried mouth organ in my pocket, so थोड़ा बजा, हाँ, थोड़ा पी के बजाता हूँ, पानी पीता हूँ. बराबर बजता नहीं है. क्या हो गया? ये मेरा मुंह बजता है, तू नहीं बजता है. Thank you very much. And besides teaching economics, I inspire my students to do something else which everyone will enjoy, because economics is perhaps too boring a subject. There you are. And many of them come and tell me, sir, आपने क्या बोला था हम लोग को? हम तो कभी कभी ऐसा बजाते हैं. खुश रहो, खुश रहो. Very important in life. Keep yourself happy and healthy. I am just 80 now, and होते रहता है continuation वगैरह वगैरह. Okay, so रिटायरमेंट तो कभी का ऐसा हो गया है, पर कंटिन्यूएशन आई होप चलते रहे आगे. I must compliment UDCT. The best. I have taught in so many institutes, I told you, but perhaps the best, UDCT. I cannot forget it. And thanks for inviting me. All the best to everyone.
May I invite you, Dr. Professor Lily?
Hello everybody. Now women don't like to disclose their age. So, well, they can keep calling me teacher, but I was seeing here, I know I was here from Daruwala sir time, and you were also there from Daruwala. So all of us are same group because we don't know earlier people in person. So perhaps I might be the youngest teacher. I'm 77, became Engg. But I belong to one such family which has UDCT running in their blood. So my first interaction in UDCT was when I was in schools. And my maternal auntie, Dr. Kusum Arjungi, was doing PhD here, organic chemistry. Sir knows her very well. And she did it after marriage and so at a later age. So I was already very much around. And what she told me, I remember here in that main building, that she said, this institute has a unique course, BK Minj. And people in India and Mumbai don't know much about it. But it is known more in London and UK than in India. And I like challenges. I was good in maths. I loved chemistry also. And so I decided that I want to come to this university, this UDCT itself, and became in itself. And then I came in 10th, 11th, I came here to see some experiments, etc. But the first conversation was when I was just 12 years old. And I was in Ruya, so Sauraja sir, you have taught me in Ruya, economics. I was here also. And after that also many times I have seen him. And his words make a lot of difference to us because all of us praising ourselves is little bit odd. But when somebody not from UDCT says something, and so if you just do quick probability things, the very fact that nobody knows us shows that we are such a rare commodity. It's not for everybody. So one aspect which I would like to bring out here, which has not been mentioned, is we have so many endowment lectures. And that has made immense impact to those who wanted to learn more. And I remember I listened to Sri Sharur Angnekar, who is Dada Muni of management. He's still alive but much older, and I heard him in a classroom where now there is academic department. So not even auditorium because so many things happened parallelly. Now so it's impossible only to get any booking, but even in those days, parallelly so many things were happening. So it was in an ordinary classroom, and that example which he said that day has made an impact on my life, and many such things happen, and that I am going to share because it is very relevant. So he explained there different words for Sanskrit, which means teacher, which has different shades. So I'll just quickly narrate. He said, Adhyapak, somebody who has information and give it to others. Upadhyaya has information plus skill. Pandit has information, skill, and insight. He can answer why. And he doesn't say, don't ask me questions, remember and write in paper. Not like that. And then there is a drashta, visionary, who also can answer why not. So extrapolation, and beyond that there is Guru. And so we can see we have our Mahaguru sitting here. Now I work as a director. I never dreamt that I will get that title director. But because of the gross promotion of UDCT to AICT to ICT, thanks to my beloved Guru, Professor J.B. Joshi, who made it. And so not only our retirement age has formally become 65, but we will never retire, that is different. But we had a separate campus, 2 campuses started, and I was lucky to become the first director of the Marathwada Jalna campus. So all of you are invited there. And so why UDCT is unique? Because it creates Guru, Drashta and Pandits. Luckily we have a Pandit here sitting as our new Vice Chancellor. And we also had, along with Mahaguru, we had a Drashta who had just left, Professor Yadav, who was mainly instrumental in starting the 2 campuses. So with that vision that why many people don't know us, we are too special. But if we are not available in the market, what's the point? And so we must also have some kind of a number, some kind of a quantity. Just because my course is so special, nobody will ever get admission, may not be a good thing. And so we have expanded, and so I would end with saying not only that your batch is unique, sample किया, मैं गायकर को जानती हूँ, और कुंटे किधर है? कुंटे? हाँ. So 2 out of 60 if I know, and they are so specimen and unique, the whole batch is specimen and unique. So statistically बोल सकती हूँ ना मैं? And so I will just end saying, as far as I am concerned, ICT minus I is a big zero or minus infinity. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. May I now request the Vice Chancellor of the Institute to address us.
my teachers, my colleagues and friends. This is a very unique function indeed, and a function which really shows the gratitude which we all have towards our teacher. We cannot thank them enough, and this was the right representation of the same. And I'm sure even if this happens after another 10 years and 15 years, the level of intensity, the level of affection, the level of respect will only grow, not diminish. Because the more we mature, the more we realize the importance of informative years, and what was told then did not make sense then, but starts making sense as we age and mature. So I would like to thank the 1982 batch very much that they allowed me to be a part of this particular function, and I am eternally grateful for letting me get involved in this particular activity and also allowing me to say few words. So I also take this opportunity to thank my colleagues and friends. Professor Gaikar has been one of my supporting pillars to rely on or lie on, and all my teachers who are sitting in front of me, I am very much grateful, and I would like to thank you all, and please feel free to come to ICT at any point of time. Doors are always open for you. Thank you.
My request Dilip now to propose a vote of thanks.
It's already past 2 p.m. and I'm sure everyone is hungry. So I will cut it short. It's a real privilege for me to express our gratitude towards our gurus, to this great institute. And when I talk about great institute, it reminds me, and I'm going to take away 1 minute from you, whenever I used to sit in some of the meetings, say with L&T for example, and when I used to have a meeting with KV used to tell his team, be careful, this guy is from UDCT. And that was, that was giving such a strength, such a, a pleasure to, let's say, discuss, sometimes negotiate with that kind of organization, with this back, the strength of the institution. So it's a great institution, and we were, whatever we, as I said, reached, is all because of these institutes and all our gurus. So I express my vote of thanks on behalf of my colleagues, my batchmates, to the whole institute, to all our gurus. As it said, blessings of God and gurus are the most important things in your life. Our sincere thanks to all our professors for molding us into responsible chemical engineers. I say responsible because I'm sure most of us not only either promote our own businesses or promote businesses of our, let's say, owners, promoters, we also ensure that we take care of the HS part of the chemical industry. Because the industry, which is unfortunately have a bad name in many quarters of the world, that this is what is happening with the chemical industries, but then there are solutions, and responsible chemical engineers as well as responsible promoters do ensure that we don't do the damage to the Mother Earth. And this is something we learned from this institute and from the emeritus professors we have in front of us. Thank you very much. I also like to thank all those people. They may not be in the institute today, but when we got into 1978, many of us were not even from Mumbai. And to be in a place like this, to be in a city like Mumbai, you need someone to create a comforting situations for you. You need someone to handhold you. And not only our institute seniors, our teachers, but even the peons in the laboratories, even the librarian in the library, even the guys into the canteen, everyone used to be so supportive. We never ever realized that we have come to a place which is completely unknown to us. So we thank you all of them. And today's function, for example, yes, we did develop a concept. We did decide to have this function, but this function can't happen. And it can't happen only with Vilas. It has to be supported by the whole institution. And so I thank you all the students, the entire institution, whoever is behind this. And this function will remain in our memory with the videographers and the photographers. So I thank you, all of you. Thank you very much. And I wish the graduating students all the best, and all the best for their career. Thank you very much. Post this, we break for the lunch. Thank you.
Before we break for lunch, one small thing, though Dilip Pandurang has said that, that was vote of thanks, I have been approached by a lot of my friends here today saying that they want to do something more for the institute. So the felicitation process does not end here today. Some have already gone ahead and made some donations on an individual basis. There is a feeling of wanting to do more. So this process continues and we'll come back on this soon. Right? Thank you.
All of you are invited for the lunch near the library. Please join us.